So Judge right now currently has 21 home runs. That's a full season pace of 63. Everybody knows what the Yankees record is. That's 61 by the Roger Maris in 1961. There's a movie written about it. That would be wild.
61.
That would be wild. That would be so wild. That's crazy. Aaron Judge. I think of all of these ones that I should have probably left this out till the end. I think this one actually is going to happen. Like I think 117 wins is a tall order, but I think on an individual basis, I mean, it all lines up so that to the point, like he's got just he's got the talent, obviously. He's got the incentive. He's in a contract year. He's just absolutely tearing the cover off the ball in every respect. He's hitting for average, so I don't think he's going to slump a little bit in terms of like fall into those spells where he's just not hitting the ball because he's a complete hitter. He hits everything. It's just he's at Yankee Stadium. He's got the short porch. He hits it to opposite field a lot. He doesn't need the short porch to left field. He's got the power to hit it onto the concourse. It's just everybody. I don't need to sell you on the fact that Aaron Judge can hit home runs. But I think in the contract year and the way he's seeing the beach ball right now, that's how it seems to him. I think, spoiler alert, before we get into rounding third, my hot take is that Aaron Judge breaks Roger Maris' home run record. And I think 63 is very much in his wheelhouse. And it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. The MLB record is 73. I don't think he'll get there. That's Barry Bonds, but that would be crazy. But I think
Reuter again, maybe.
Yeah, if we had a designated Reuter and just juiced Judge up with some roids, that would be he'd hit 85. But I just think my hot take, and yeah, it's a hot take, but is it even really that hot of a take? Because
yes,
it's a very hot take.
Okay, you guys don't never let me finish because I was saying it's not. Is it really as much of a hot take as any of the other hot takes that we've ever given out? Because he's currently on pace to do it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not pulling something out of thin air that's saying, Aaron Judge before the season, I'm going to say he's going to hit 100 home runs, or him and Stanton are going to, hit a combined 112. You know what I mean? He's literally currently 1/3 of the way in. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can happen. He could get hurt. He could just not be hitting the cover off the ball like he is right now on an MVP pace. I just think he can continue to do it. I think, the one thing that he has shown in the past, though, that goes against this is that sometimes he doesn't need the home run ball and he can just hit for average, and he might just do that for a month, and then the pace is no longer the pace, and then he's not going to hit 63 in it. And currently he has to hit at this mashing rate in order to even sniff Roger Maris' jockstrap that season. But you know what I'm saying? I think that it's interesting to note that he's actually currently on the pace. It's not like he's below the pace and I'm saying, hey, he's doing this amazing and he's going to pick it up some more. So
I'm going to give you one reason why. One reason that I agree and one reason I disagree with you. One, I didn't like, there was one part where you were talking about, he can decide he just wants to hit for average and that he's not really hitting home runs anymore. His home runs aren't on purpose. Those happen because of how good of a baseball player is. He's not going to adjust. He's not going to adjust his swing, and it's going to make a vast difference. So I don't think that really has anything to do with it. But on the flip side of that, I think, part of the reason I don't think he's going to do it, just for the record, it's just such a big task. I hope to God I'm wrong. It's just, I don't, again, it's just, he would have to do this for an entire season. But I mean, he got off to a relatively slow start through the first 10, 15 games, which when you're talking about a third of a season, 15 games is a big part of that, So, I mean, he had one home run through the first 15, 16 games, something like that. So he got off to a slow start, and then he's just on a torrid pace since then. So he's hitting one every other night now.
So, I mean, that kind of goes to you can kind of, he had a cold spell and he's still on pace for it. So you can have those moments with a guy like him that can just not even have a cold spell. He didn't have a cold spell. He was hitting for average. They just weren't home runs. And I agree. I think, like you said, he kind of takes what's given to him. If you throw him one low and away, he's going to take that the other way. He's not going to wait for a home run pitch and try to put that one over the fence. He's going to literally take anything that's given to him, and that in one instance, in this very specific moment, is to his demise, because we want him to break the Roger Maris record. That doesn't mean he's doing it bad. That means he might not hit 61 home runs. But I mean, I don't know. I think what you said kind of makes the case for the possibility that makes him that much more equipped to do it too, because he had a cold spell, so to speak, for home runs at least, and he's still on pace to do it. It's just, if anybody can do it on the Yankees, at least this season, it's him. The one thing is, and everybody will tell you, it's the health thing, and he's playing a lot of games. He's got 52 games. There's another one on my list. He's got 52 games played this year. That's on pace for 156. That is so many baseball games for a guy that's allegedly injury prone. So
that's
only
one
thing
that could hurt him is if. Sorry, Murph. Let me do this real quick, and I'll pop it back over. But the only thing, if they keep winning at this rate and they lock up the AL East, say beginning of September, he's going to get a lot more rest down the stretch.
Think so?
And those
I don't know.
if they've locked up the East, if they have a 12-game lead, rolling into the first weekend in September, I don't know, the roster's still expanded September, right? So they're going to get these guys in. They're going to rotate guys in. We have 12 games to play with. We don't want to waste Judge and get him hurt against the Orioles when we're up, 12 games in the East and we have 3 weeks to play before the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because
I just don't know if that's going to happen.
What? I'm just saying.
I think the lead will stick around. I think the lead will just stick around somewhere in the 6 to 8 game range, where it's not enough to say like, hey, we can start resting. I agree. If they end up getting to the 13, 14 game range, it might make sense to sit him against the Orioles to get him some rest. But again,
I
know. I'm just saying, but I don't think we'll get to that point. I think the Blue Jays and the Rays will keep it close-ish, close enough to not have him. Like, I don't think we're gonna run away with it. But
for the record, I don't like. First of all, Rel, this is a great hot take, but that's what it is. It's a hot take.
Yeah,
like
he's
the odds
breaking
doing
the
that
Yankee record. Yeah,
exactly. But
been some good dudes
he
on the
has
Yankees before.
50
So
if he has 55 home runs going into September, they're not going to sit him.
that's
no
true
matter
too.
what the lead
so
is.
To what Chandler was saying, if you get down to the line, like,
yeah, I don't think that's going to be the reason he does.
I know Judge isn't a big personal accolade guy, and everybody will say that. Breaking Roger Maris's record is reason to keep the personal accolade. Like, that doesn't happen. No, nobody ever has that opportunity to say that that's very different from anything else. Like, it's history. It's literally history. It's like hitting like Miggy. Like, it's like trying to get a 3,000th hit. Like, if Miggy was coming down to it, and maybe, like, let's say this is his final year and he was really close to it, are you going to sit him? It's the same thing. It's just a single season record, but like, it's the same exact thing. It's, if not more, because you're the best to do it on your team. And a few other people have done 3,000 hits, but different example. But I do think if we're close, he's playing every single game. Like, let's say we have a month and he needs like 10 more home runs. He's playing every single night. If he sniffs it, he's DHing on nights that he would not have otherwise played at all.
You also don't want to like mess up his rhythm though too, towards the playoffs. Like, I feel like that's also like a controversial thing. Like, you don't want to sit him too much, and then he gets to the playoffs and he's kind of off his groove, and then that's a whole different situation.